I don't see him ever actually going to jail. I personally don't even care. I just want a system that somehow finds a consistent accountability.
Would you rather have Donald Trump in jail as president or Joe Biden in the Oval Office as president?
Donald Trump in jail.
That would be your choice.
Absolutely.
Would you rather have President Trump serve from jail or President Biden from the Oval Office?
I mean, I hate to say it, but President Trump from jail. President Biden's just far too disconnected, and he shows it every time he opens his mouth.
If Trump were to go to jail, they say that he could still serve as president. Would you rather have Trump in jail as president or Biden in the Oval Office?
I'd rather have Trump in jail before I have Biden.
I gotta admit, that was sort of refreshing when he said, I'd rather have Trump in jail. I was like, okay, like I'm talking to a human being, until you hear that they think it's fine for a sitting president to be a convicted criminal.
Oh my God, Trump in jail. How's he gonna go to jail? He has to have Secret Service. Are you gonna send Secret Service to jail too?
Well, I would imagine.
That's crazy. That makes no sense. It's not gonna happen.
Well, what if even if he's convicted?
No, I don't believe he will go to prison. No.
If he were to be convicted and go to jail, would you rather see him serve as president from jail or Biden from the Oval Office?
Well, can't he just pardon himself and come on out after that? It'd be a first in America, but you know what? We're in some weird times right now, and right now we're in a first for America too.
He can't pardon himself in the state crimes. He can pardon himself for federal. So So if he gets convicted, they say he can serve as president from jail. Would you prefer to have him from jail or Biden from the Oval Office?
I wouldn't want Biden at all. So wherever he can serve, I'll be for that.
The guy holding the American flag, dressed up in military clothes. I mean, it may be stolen or borrowed valor, but he's holding an American flag or in military clothes saying he's fine with Trump pardoning himself. That is honestly the best visual representation of American nationalism. I mean, just that right there, it's just so encapsulating.
Would you prefer to have Donald Trump as president in jail or Joe Biden as president from the Oval Office?
Boy, I think Trump can do more from jail than Biden does in office. That's a silly question.
Would you rather have him be president from jail or President Biden from the Oval Office?
President from jail, of course.
Would you rather have Donald Trump serve from jail or Joe Biden from the Oval Office?
I'd rather have Joe Biden flown overseas and left and dropped off a plane. Donald Trump serving from prison or jail, if that ends up happening, which it won't, I'd be 100% on board. That man is not going to jail, and he is going to be our president next year.
Would you rather have Donald Trump from jail or Joe Biden from the Oval Office?
The libs want him in jail because they know they can't win this election. That's the whole reason they want him in jail.
What would you rather have, Trump in jail as president or Biden in the Oval Office?
I'd rather have Trump. He'd be more successful.
Even from jail?
I'd say so.
An investigative report came out earlier this week saying that if President Trump were to win re-election, he would be allowed to serve from jail, technically. Would you rather have Trump serve from jail or Biden from the Oval Office?
I don't think Biden will make it to the Oval Office as old and impaired as he is, unfortunately. I would rather have Trump. I would take that 11 times out of 10.
Trump out serving from jail?
Yeah, and I don't think he'll serve jail at all. But I would, if that was the choices, absolutely.
I mean, Trump could do more from jail than Biden's done in office. I mean, he hasn't really done anything except, infrastructure bill, Inflation Reduction Act, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act, lowering the price of insulin. I mean, the guy, it's like he's done nothing. Am I right? Am I right there? That's they love saying that of like this, as they're always saying like, oh, Biden hasn't done anything. They're like, well, Trump in his 4 years in office did more than Biden did, in decades of him as a senator, which is like also like categorically, patently false. I think it's even funnier. Like Trump could like literally just go to jail, and maybe let's just say like he went to jail and he was president, just hypothetically speaking, of course, and he could literally do nothing but just, rant on Truth Social or something. Like he would just rant all day. And they would still come back and say that he did so much while he was in jail. And it's also the funniest thing is when you ask any of them what he did as president, like what was, his greatest, piece of legislation. There's probably like a small percentage that could be like, oh, well, he did this. And I'm like, literally, like no one, most of them say like, he woke us up. He woke us up. That's something that was like, they've said again and again. It's never been like, because like, well, this piece of legislation, I actually get like some of them like talking about, was it like the one that he signed with Kim Kardashian? He signed with Kim Kardashian. The First Step Act.
Well, when I initially called Ivanka, I said I would love a meeting with your dad. I said that from the start. And then that took about 6 or 7 months to get. And so once we got the file really strong, we were able to plan a meeting.
I had one Trump supporter talk to me about that and say that was like significant. And I was like, you know what, fair enough. It's funny when you hear like liberals talk about this. They're like, liberals, like neo-libs have this sort of funny sense that justice is like, fair and balanced. And, yes, of course, the justice system works. And they're expecting Trump to like go to jail. And like people like further on the left are like, I don't know if he's going to go to jail. Like, I don't know if he's going to face consequences, given that no one that's rich and powerful faces consequences ever. So it is a funny thing to listen to, like people on the left talk about this. Like people like the further left you go, the more they're like, man, he's going to beat these charges, because, money. And people that are like, center, neo-libs are like, oh my God, they're going to just, totally, deliver justice to him. And then people on the far right project what they think is justice. They think that Donald Trump, they're just going to take him out behind the jail cell and like shoot him in the back of the head because that's their version of justice. And they're going to project that onto what they think is going to happen.